Okay, welcome to Geoguessr Simplified, the series where I take popular Geoguessr metas and break them down to show you how they're used in-game. Today I'll be covering Japanese pole tops, which are really useful for region guessing regions of Japan. Many of these pole tops are unique to a specific region and can really help narrow down your guesses, especially when other information isn't really available in like no move or NPC settings. As always, I recommend that you practice these metas on your own because just watching this video probably won't make them stick. And I'll link the docs where I learned these in the description below. I post a video in this series of Geoguessr Simplified every Friday, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss those. Anyways, let's get started. One last thing, it's important that you know your regions of Japan because I will be referring to the regions, at least I think it's the regions that the electricity companies use. So I will link the document below so you can refer to that throughout the video. In this video, when I mean pole tops, I don't really mean crossbars and stuff like you would in like a normal country. It's really what goes on top of this end here. In this case, there is no pole top. It's just the concrete end. There are metas for insulators and crossbars and all sorts of things in Japan. But for this video, it is just the top, which in here does not exist. No pole top is actually a good clue for both Hokkaido and Tohoku. In general, poles in these two prefectures regions do not have pole tops, especially Tohoku. I see like these crossbars with these insulators on them a lot in Hokkaido, and Tohoku has similar ones as well, often shorter crossbars, but that is not really what this video is about, and I don't really know if that's a meta. In terms of recognizing the two areas, Hokkaido usually recognized by landscape, and Tohoku you can recognize by the horizontal silver plate on the pole combined with landscape, so those two clues are usually trump the use of, say, a pole top, but pole tops always serve as good confirmation. A lot of clues in Japan are better utilized in conjunction with other clues. You know, plates, sky wires, and poles and transformers all can be visible at the same time, so it can really help confirm or narrow down your guesses further. Okay, so the first pole meta I'm going to talk about is what's called stalks. This is what I think are called stalks. It's this long extension on the top. It's usually rectangular, kind of hard to tell from this angle, and extends all the way to the top. Stalks are kind of found generally from Kanto south to even Okinawa, all the way down there. I have seen them in Tohoku before, so it's not to say that they don't exist. There are some pole tops in Tohoku that randomly show up, but usually there aren't any. In general, I would say they're most common in Kyushu, Kansai, and Kanto, but you definitely do get them in Chugoku and Shikoku as well, which I'll show you in a second. Even that may not be real, but they definitely, we'll talk about Kyushu ones, but that's probably the most helpful one. This is the Kansai one. It has 0 like large holes. These are just like screws in the thing. There aren't real holes. It's kind of solid and extends up. There are similar ones in both Shikoku and Chogoku. So for example, here's a stock in Shikoku in the prefecture of Kagawa. Here's one in Chogoku, but it actually happens to have a lot of holes in it. I think in general, the Chogoku ones, I thought they didn't have holes in them. They might. But regardless, it's the same stock shape. Generally, when you see a lot of holes in the stock, you go Kanto. That's a meta for Kanto, which you can see here in the prefecture of Chiba. There's a bunch of random little holes in this one. This is a Kanto stock. So far we've seen a Kanto, Kansai, Chogoku, and Shikoku stock. Now this meta is probably most helpful in actually Kyushu because it's really the only main pole top of Kyushu. I don't know personally any other pole tops in Kyushu. And Kyushu are helpful because they usually have 2 large holes in them. The Kanto ones we saw usually have a lot of holes. The Kansai and Shikoku ones usually don't have holes. I'm not sure about Shigoku, but the one I showed had a lot of holes. But yeah, Kyushu usually has 2 holes and that works pretty reliably. So stalks combined with the southern houses and landscape is often a very good, helpful for recognizing Kyushu. Next I want to talk about this shape. I have a name for this shape, but I'm not going to say it in this video. I'll leave it to your imagination. But it's generally this like gets narrower at the top and wider at the bottom with these 2 little hooks on them, okay? This is probably the most helpful pole meta for Kanto. You'll see these very often, and Kanto comes up a lot because of the Tokyo region being so populated. We've got a lot of urban rounds where this is a huge clue to point to Kanto. Most of these pole metas do show up in other prefectures, and this one especially, I think, Chugoku, I want to say. Yeah, Chugoku shows up, but also Okinawa as well. Okinawa is an interesting case that we'll get into. For example, here's one in Okinawa. Obviously, the landscape's very different than Kanto. However, you still get the pole top. So I have just instantly zoomed in on the pole top and instantly sent Kanto before, and it was Okinawa, which was not good. But yeah, in general, this is a good clue for Kanto region. It kind of has a brother pole top, which is why I'll show it in a second. This is one of the most unique helpful pull tops in the game. This is not a good one. Let me find a better one. This one's Gen 3 and a little blurry, but it's the same, has the same two jut outs that the Kanto one does, but it's the same shape from top to bottom. So sometimes they can be confused with stocks because you can't see these circular things, or the Kanto ones because you can't tell it's not as wide. But these are very unique to Chugoku, very helpful. Here's a better angle. It's kind of like a stock with these two little hooks on it. It's a very good meta. As far as I know, it doesn't really show up in other prefectures or regions, so hopefully I'm not spreading misinformation. Okay, next we kind of have to talk about tuning fork pull tops. They're kind of shaped with the two upward prongs. That's why I think it's referred to as a tuning fork. This one has a wide and thick crossbar on the top of the tuning fork. So if you imagine these two things make the tuning fork, and you have a wide and crossbar. It's the Kanto one, and I believe the holes as well may also point you to Kanto because it's like the stocks from earlier. However, Kansai also uses a similar tuning fork pattern, but the connector at the top is not the same thickness. It's usually really thin, so it actually looks like a tuning fork in this instance. So that can be helpful for Kansai. Also referring to this document, there's also tuning forks in Chubu, but I didn't find any for this video when I was looking for stuff. I have seen them in Chubu before, and they do look different. Next, we have what I call our tent-shaped pull tops. I just say that because it looks like it's like set up like a tent. I don't really know. You get them in a lot of the country. I know you can't get these in Hokkaido and Tohoku, but I have never really seen them up there. For the regions that can get tent-shaped pull tops, I can't really differentiate them. Personally, I just don't know how to. I know there are ways. So I'll just show you some regions where you do get pull tops like this. Here's a Hokuriku one. Here's one in Chubu, where I'd say it's probably most common. Probably the standard pull top in Chubu, I'd say. Here is one in Shikoku, down here in Kochi. And you can also get them in Shigoku, although I did not find one for this video apparently, so my mistake. But I think those are the main regions, like Hokuriku, Chubu, and then these two right here. Can be relatively helpful, I'd say, not the best. I mean, if you knew how to differentiate them on a region level, that would be a lot better. I should also mention, I don't know if I did earlier, that you do get stocks in Okinawa as well. So basically the entire southern, I did mention that, right? I don't know, whatever. We'll add it here. So next I'll get into more of the region-specific unique ones that are pretty recognizable. So one thing about Kanto is they like to have these boxes on the side of poles. A lot of places use like one, but if you see like 2 or 3 of these going down the pole, that is a good hint for Kanto region. Not exclusive, I don't think, but I usually guess Kanto when I see that. It works pretty well. Also, you just look on like this one, like every pole has this random square on it, which isn't that common, I don't think. Also, if you see the square lower on the pole, like down here, that's also probably more Kanto. Here is a Chubu pole top in Nagoya that's like this hook shape. It's very unique and recognizable, and it's very helpful for recognizing Chubu. I don't really think it's in any other regions, so that is definitely a good pole top to learn. This is a Kansai pole top. It's like usually wide at base and gets narrow. Oftentimes like a bald end. Let me see if I have one of those saved. Yeah, here's an example. Like there's sort of like a bald end. It's almost bottle shaped maybe. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, this is a good one for Kansai. They're usually pretty recognizable from far away. Just you gotta make sure not to mix it up with another pole top. I guess lastly, I'll show this one. It's also like the similar bottle shape, but this is Chigoku. I actually never used this pole top before this video, but maybe this is helpful in Chigoku because I saw it multiple times. So yeah, I just thought I'd point it out because I don't want to. Might as well share this information, but I do not know what this is. It looks almost like a plunger. Maybe that's a Chigoku pole top. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have for pole tops. Next, we get into the gameplay part of the episode where I show you how I use this in a game and no moving games. Unfortunately, I actually left my mouse in a different room. I don't really want to go get it, so hopefully this is fine. I'll either show 2 games, or if the pole tops aren't common enough really in those games, I'll just show some clips, but let's get into it. Okay, round 1 here, we do have a lack of pole tops, which should point me to Tohoku, I believe. Let's give that a go. Yeah. I mean, I guess it could have been Hokkaido as well, but landscape didn't feel Hokkaido. Okay, round 2 here, we have a tuning fork in the distance with the narrow on the top, so it should be Kansai, I believe, unless we're in, let me make sure. Yeah, so I don't know, I'll just hedge like Osaka with, yeah, was nearby in Nara. That is the Chigoku one with the hooks on it. Yeah, it's narrow and should have the 2 hooks on the side, and that fits with landscape. Shogoku, We also have a Shikoku arrow, so yeah, we are in Shikoku. No red roofs though, for Shikoku is pretty rare, so I'd probably go Okoyama or Totori. Probably just head to Okoyama. And yeah, it was Totori. Okay, pole top here. It's a stock with no hole, so I'm thinking Kansai or something, or Shikoku. And we have a Watto wire, so that fits for Kansai region for sure. So let's just go ahead and guess like Kyoto or something on this. That feels fine to me. Okay, was Wakayama, but that is within the region. It says stock. We do have a stock with no holes, I believe, so maybe Kansai again. And we do have 2 vertical plates. Okay, this is also a meta that I haven't even covered in one of my videos, but I believe is the 120-degree angle Kansai. I believe it's Kansai and 90-degree Shikoku. It's one of the two. It's either that or other way around, so we'll find out. Yeah, so it was just Osaka. So that was 5 rounds where I used a Pullman on every single round, I believe, and got a 21K. I mean, that's a very good game, so. Okay, I accidentally looked at the plate instead, and we have Shikoku arrow. Oh, I said I couldn't find this earlier. Here's a tent in Shikoku. And that's a stock, which you also get in Shikoku. Water to our west with islands. Yeah, it's a weird one. I'd probably just say we're on like somewhere here with the islands. I don't know, like here. Okay, Yamaguchi, whatever. Okay, I don't see any pull tops on this round in particular. Just interesting. I would say we have like birch trees, so it's either north or like high elevation somewhere. I'm not sure which. Probably with no pull tops. Ooh, that might be a pull top. I'd say with no pull tops, you just go to Hoku on this, but I don't want to commit too far north because I'm not certain. Yeah, it was just middle. It was Gifu, which is part of Chubu. So okay, we have a stock with 3 holes. I was gonna say Kyushu, but what am I looking at? Kyushu is just 2 holes, but maybe this is just a Kyushu, still a Kyushu one. It's like, I don't know. Okay, yeah, we have Kyushu transformers where they're opposite of each other, so we are in Kyushu. I mean, it feels really far south. That's why I was like pretty sure it's Kyushu, even though we have 3 holes. Maybe you do get 3 holes. You usually can't see one of them on the Kyushu one. Anyways. Okay, we have a tent. So first thought was Chubu. This looks like a Chubu plate with a horizontal plate, so that should put us in Nagano. So yeah, I think this all fits for Nagano. Yeah, nice. And for our last round here, okay. Well, we can at least try to find this. Tokyo Metro. Sure that means Tokyo, right? Nice. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful if you are a beginner on Japanese pull tops. I post these videos every Friday, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. And with that, thank you for watching.